Hello everybody, welcome to episode 56 of the Contest Round podcast. Now I'm fully aware that I do get the numbers wrong, and I'm making more of an effort to make sure that this is episode 56. I only realised that when I upload it. And just to let you know, we are available on SoundCloud, Spotify and iTunes podcast. Make sure you're following all of them on the various platforms. And as well, make sure to catch up and keep up to date with Dan on www.frontlinemcoc.home.blog. It's the best place to go that keeps you in the know when it comes to things from around the battle realm, including guides and other helpful pieces of information. Hey, Dan.
Hey, Rich. How we doing?
I think we're good. I think, in some ways we're not. Especially because we've got two champions coming into the game, which are in some ways ruffling some jimmies. And
yes,
we need to,
yes. The jimmies have been ruffled this
absolutely.
week.
And that's something we're going to dissect a little bit in this particular episode. Where do we begin? Because we've got quite a bit on our list. We're going to be talking
big news dump.
Yeah, we're going to be talking side quests, buff champions, and a lot when it comes to these champions. Crystal drop rate. You name it, we're going to talk about it. I think we're going to start where we normally like to do it, and that's the side quest.
Yes. One of my favorites, right? The side quest every month. How are we going to figure this thing out? This one's actually not that bad. Seems pretty simple, right? There's a daily solo objective. I assume it's something like some sort of a riddle or a target of a champion, and I imagine everyone's going to be tweeting and posting who the target is every day. So take that target out, get a key, run the quest. There's going to be detours and paths along the with the path drops.
Yeah.
So take all the detours, get all the rewards. But I think the big thing, especially for the min-maxers among us, is there's no way to maximize the rewards because the path drops are random.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm still a bit confused with that. Not from a point I understand why and what Kabam are doing, but it's very different from a lot of the times. And I know it's good to shake things up because the vibe of it, I'm like, is this like? First of all, I was thinking to myself without seeing the side event info, because the problem is the way that Kabam delivered the CCP info was because they decided to put the side event info first. It messed up a lot of like coverage for the 32. 30, is it 30?
30.2. 30.2.
Yeah, 30.2. Yeah. So for me, it was like I'd recorded my video, which was like, how are we going to do this? Is it going to be like a riffs thing, which then completely skews at the time? And I just thought, do you know what? Screw it. I'm not going to re-record any of this stuff. There's no point. But the way that it's kind of like mapped out, and Kabam put more effort this month to explain things, which I think is so much better.
Yes, I got a lot of comments about this post on the forums and how much better it was than last month. Which is good. Good job, Kabam-boo.
Yes, well done. So
we like the Kabam-boo. She's doing her best.
She is. She got. I think there was something on the forums was like they gave her some kind of award or like Hall of Fame inductee. So Kabam-boo is well loved.
Oh yes. The people on the forums love Kabam-boo. So the RNG reward. So we're not exactly sure what we're going to get because you can't. But Clobbern Time did a good forum post. He did the maths. Yeah. So that we don't have to. But it looks on average you should be getting 5,200 6-star shards. 13.7k 5-star shards, 1.4 almost 1.5 million gold from just running the quest. If you're running the legendary difficulty, which you and I would, that's not bad. I'm okay with that. The nice thing is the big rewards and the stuff that you really have to focus on is in the solo objectives. Because that's where the 5-star awakening gem crystal is. That's where the featured 5-star hero crystal is, and most importantly for Cavalier Thronebreaker players, you want to get that T5 CC. So there's 5 2% drops and then one 10% drop at the end But you need to run the legendary quest 25 times to get all the T5CC. And now remember, your keys expire each time you use them. So you only get 28. So you need to use at least 25 out of the 28 on legendary difficulty. The big takeaway is for those that can do the legendary difficulty is you need to run it at least 25 out of your 28 runs so that you can maximize the T5CC. So as long as you do that, you'll get it all.
Yeah, that's the most important thing. Get stuff. Does this feel like more of a rank up materials month as opposed to a shardy month?
It does. I mean, you've got T1A in the legendary. You've got T5B. You've got T4B. You've got T4CC frags. You've got some Sig stones. So there's definitely a larger variety of rank up materials. So yeah, I definitely feel that.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, there's not a bad drop rate on 5-star hero crystal shards in the legendary. So I think you're going to get a fair amount of that and gold. So it's kind of all over the place. But it does not feel as shard heavy as some months have. And of course, it doesn't have the element of choice to it. I mean, you could choose to not pick up the rank up materials, but I mean, why would you skip them?
That's true. That's a fair point. Okay. Next month is great because we're going to be seeing a return back to variant 7. Where did that info come of? Like, I know you had it. There was like an info of some of the bosses for variant 7.
I think someone must have had the screenshots of the original quest.
Ah, right, okay, that makes sense.
I think there's a wiki that keeps that. So it looked like it was Cyclops and a bunch of Spider-Men. Now the big concern is that with this being a hero focused event, this could and there being class restrictions. That's going to take Venom out of play at least some of the time, and maybe all the time. So I think my post was, something about my rank 3 Falcon is ready to soar because we're gonna need some hero evade counters for all these Spider-Men running around, and Falcon is ready to go. Yeah,
absolutely. I think as well we better move on and talk about buffed champions. Now it's good news to see that some Howard the Duck, I think, is definitely going to be one of those champions that hasn't been given a look into. Is it one of these?
He had to be on the list for some help.
Yeah, he definitely had to be on there. Nova was a bit of a surprise, but I don't think people, and from what I've seen, people haven't really been raving about his changes. It's one of the most talked about spotlights at the moment. I'm seeing like thumbs up for the Crossbones and Howard the Duck, but I'm seeing a little bit of kickback when it comes to his changes. So
there's some difference whether that after this buff underwhelming
yeah. So there was one thing about Prestige that I've just read here about the 18k Prestige. Got the confirmation from the team that there was a bit of a typo. As a 6-star rank 3, his Prestige is supposed to be 13,680. His health should be 40,458, and his attack should be 2,965. The spotlight has been updated to the correct information, because that was a key question that was being asked about that. Because Caban made it.
Rank up Nova, for Prestige. A lot of people were concerned about that.
Yeah, because that would really change the landscape if that was the case.
Because that 18k was crazy. But even the 5-star, his Prestige was wrong because they had him at over 11k as a 5-star. So I was looking at that. I was like, whoa! Like I would actually have to rank up and Sig 200 Nova because that would actually help my Prestige. Yeah. So I was concerned about the 5-star.
And that was dropped down now to 10,640. So they've obviously had to do that because it does dramatically change things. The other buffs, I'm looking forward to Howard the Duck and Crossbones. Got both of them. Probably going to rank them up. Probably going to rank 5 them unless there's some real kind of weird things that go on with that. As well, content's going to have to be changed. I know that some people that like yourself run map 7. There's been talk about him on what is it, diss track and
diss track, yeah. And he's on a pleasure to burn node as well.
Yeah.
So I think there's some concern about that. We'll have to see what they say, because they did change some Act 5, Act 6 stuff already. So hopefully they'll address the AQ maps before the buff goes live and it becomes an issue.
Yeah, and that'd be something to really kind of like test out there. I like the way that like both champions seem to build Fury quite nicely, as opposed to like. Well, I like the way that the interaction with #hero is with Crossbones is a nice little thing, nice little touch. But the other thing, and I think we've got to move on to talk about the new champions and the kind of the feeling towards them. I mean, I've got a very different take than a lot of people on this. Like, I'm happy to see them in, to a degree, these type of characters, but Marvel Realm characters. But Command keep on making, in my opinion, maybe some bad decisions on the look or the skins they're bringing in.
Mm-hmm.
The Jabari Panther is one that I'm just kind of like, and I'm just going to throw up on screen in a minute once I've kind of got Marvel Realm of Champions website up. So if you're watching on YouTube, you'll be able to see this kind of being brought up. But I'll describe, if you're listening, through the other things, like how I'm kind of like describing the look of them. So on Marvel Realm of Champions, they have various skins for different champions, and as part of the gear. So you gear with a certain helmet, you gear with a certain kind of like chest piece. And there are some really decent looks for these characters that have already been there. They're able to be grabbed. You've got this fantastic golden looking Black Panther, which is referred to as the Radiant Jaguar set, and it looks really cool. It's a really amazing looking set. You've also got the Honored Battle set, where it's a female Black Panther, but it's got a large purple sash, and it's very much in the style of the Vibranium skinned Black Panther. You've even got a Inventor set, which is basically a Shuri set. It looks exactly like Shuri, but it isn't. And then you've also got like the Interloper set. But for me, I don't like the Jabari Panther set.
I think at least with Jabari Panther, they wanted to go with something unique because they knew Silver Centurion was going to be seen as just another Iron Man, which is the problem. Although the drones are cool, the drones are one of the cooler weapons in MROC. So that part of it I do like, but I think this all just goes into the larger issue that we have in the community, and this flares up every time there's either a Realm crossover or Kabam puts in an original champ, which is, are these Marvel characters? Why isn't it Scorpion? Why isn't it Kraven the Hunter? Why isn't it Sandman? It's usually the Spider-Man villains that get used as the example. Yeah. As to why isn't this the champion I really want? And there's been a lot of back and forth, and I think a lot of frustration from people on both sides of this issue this week.
Yeah, I've seen it. A lot of it's boiled over to Twitter. The biggest problem with this is what the realm and the combining of universes really meant for the engagement in game. Like, it's not a great crossover. I'm just trying to think back to the first time we had a crossover, and here's the thing for me, I don't like the look of Sorcerer Supreme. The one in I mean, it does come to a point where you just put up with it, because at the end of the day, it's RNG. You pull these champions from crystals. You're like, okay, now I have Silver Centurion, I have Sorcerer Supreme, Storm Pyramid X, I have them all, Jabari Panther, and I'm like, okay, well, I've got to use these, or I'm just going to have them there redundant. Sorcerer Supreme for me, and again from a look appearance, I don't get the need for having the blue version. I've always been a bigger fan of the Battle Mage, just standard version, because you've got, and again, because even Gabe confirmed this, Sorcerer Supreme has more of a Indian heritage. So I'm like, well, put it in with the normal ethnicity. What's the word? skin color,
Mm-hmm.
pigment. That's it. The pigment that is kind of associated, rather than just going, okay, we'll just put in the necromancer blue. But
Right.
I think it just boils to a point of was and has the crossover been good this month? And for me, no. Like, if you want to combine two games within the universe, you make it worth the player's while to play both games. Like, an idea, and the thing is, I'm not Kabam. I'm not a $1 billion company, multi-million dollar company. So it's not my place to come up with ideas. But if they'd done a better job of going, hey guys, you're an MCC player. Well, if you play Marvel Realm and get through past this stage here, you will get X amount of units for your Marvel Realm account, your Kabam account, on MROC and on MCOC at the same time. It entices the player to have interest to then go and do it. You may at the end of it go, hey, it's not for me, but you've been rewarded for doing that, and it could mean for a lot more people crossing over to the game. That's the first thing. The second thing for me is going, right, well, what have we had when it comes to a Lincoln event? The first one was Baron's War. Really good. I still remember Baron's War.
That was a good event.
That was a good event.
It was a good narrative, great side quest.
Absolutely. I'm not to say that this one is bad, but it's like, again, the enticing factor of going, hey, we've got a great idea for an event. This is going to cross-promote both games. It's going to set up the universe. Even like an idea of having a game-related civil war. Like you, there's more narrative of going like, okay, well, this character is like seen as the big villain from Marvel Realm, and you have to go and defeat it. The same way that the same thing could be happening in Marvel Realm, or like a civil war between both games that is going to like trickle between both games and be something of an event, which could be Baron's War, but it could be something different, unique, something to then make players go, oh right, this Marvel Realm game, like you're ported into the Realm environment. Not to say you play the game in Marvel Contest, but you have it's set up with specific nodes, or there's something in particular, something that then gets, again, the interest between one type of player from MCOC to Realm. But I just felt this is more of a case of going like, okay, let's dump it in, and then we feel embarrassed kind of like talking, like having these kind of characters interwoven, and it feels like, oh right, okay, then next month we just go and do something else. There needs to be more of a narrative of we are in a civil war, or we are doing something that's associated.
It's interesting because it does seem like they've backed off integrating the two games from what we thought we were going to get.
Yeah.
Like, you know, for example, like the month that Realm launched, there was nothing in MCOC about Realm launching or tying together with the event quest.
Exactly.
Which is what I expected personally. You know, it seemed like, okay, they're gonna build it up, and then that month's EQ is gonna be a crossover, and none of that happened. There's been no like linking of the game accounts like we thought.
Yes, exactly.
It seems like they're letting Gabe do a bit of the narrative crossover, but as far as like the actual like game mechanics and tying them together and rewards, or you know, I know people say like, oh, they're putting in the champions to cross promote, but it's like okay, but I don't know, like you can cross promote a lot harder than just putting in some champions.
Yeah.
Like they could push it a lot more if they wanted to, and they've chosen not to.
Exactly. This feels like a lost opportunity because Realm's 3.0 update, which is the one that's meant to address a lot of stuff in this game, is also meant to come with Thor. This would have been a better opportunity to put in, like, even to appease everybody, a different version of Thor into this game, which would hype.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you bring in, say, Stormbreaker Thor from Realm, right? You bring him in with that axe.
Yeah.
You're not getting the same kickback that you're getting for a Silver Centurion.
Yeah. It's one of these things of just going, look, if you want to impress players, which effectively they want to do. And Kabam can say anything in response to go like, oh, well, we want to do it this way or that way. It's like, no, what you want to do is impress players. You want to hype players. You want to still hype those that want Marvel Realm to be have a longevity and survivability. You want to entice people from contest into Realm, then give them what they want and say that, look, you can play as Thor in 3.0, which is launching at the end of April, or kind of release it, the crystals and the early access and in arenas, whatever, around the same time. This is a massive of a loss of an opportunity for Kabam to really target that.
Go get him in both games, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I agree with you on that. As far as contest goes and the new champions, it's always interesting. This narrative flares up every time, like I said, we get an original Kabam champion. I don't think Storm Pyramid X and Sorcerer Supreme in MCOC are looked at as realm champions now.
No.
I think after a month, all that goes away, and we either like the champ or we don't because they can help us or they can't. Like, no one gets mad when they pull Aegon and says, "Oh, a Kabam original." Oh, what am I gonna do with this Guillotine 2099?
Yeah.
Who both are avoiding me, by the way, and I'm not bitter about. Listen, if anyone doesn't like the Kabam originals and can send me a 5-star Aegon and a 6-star Guillotine 2099, I will happily take them.
Absolutely.
But I think that's the thing, is like they become part of the narrative, and if you look at, say, some of the best stories in contest, I would say Aegon and Guillotine 2099 are central to some of the best event quest stories that we've had, and those are unique characters.
Yeah.
And every character has their, every creator, right? Every Marvel creator has their own sandbox that they play with within the universe, and they change things and they add things. And I think we have to take a step back and remember, like, this is not all like, mainstream comics, Earth 616. We've got people from all sorts of different, areas of the multiverse. We've got people from the champions from the MCU. Miles is from the Ultimate Universe. Like, it's all over the place. So I've always kind of embraced that. It's like, okay, like, just design a cool character that looks good and helps me and is fun to play. And they still feel like Marvel characters to me. So
yeah,
I'm all right with it. But there is an onus on these champions to be better than average. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with this stigma. It comes in a little bit with it's the means in which they come in. I think what is a good time, what is, I think that's been you've got to be so specific on how you bring in these characters to the reception, because then it's like, yeah, you're right. Within a month, like, people go, I've got this character, I need to make it work for what I'm doing. And some will, some won't. I mean, I'm looking at Silver Centurion, and the abilities are... We can talk about the abilities because we've got clearance to talk about them. We can't talk about Jabari Panther a little bit. You'll find out more about that tomorrow, so Monday. But Silver Centurion has very incredibly similar vibes to Iron Man Infinity War, which is in some ways a bit of a problem. But there are some extras to the character which will only be seen, I'd say, once it started testing and there's videos created. I guess that's really the thing, isn't it?
Yeah, you really got to play them to see if they're fun. It's like the same thing. Like, I got a question today. It's like, what do you think about the Howard the Duck buff? And I have a 6-star Howard the Duck, and it's like, well, like, is the button mashing going to feel natural, or is it going to be weird?
Yeah.
Like, until I try it, I can't really tell you. They could do some cool visuals with the drones. I'm interested in Jabari Panther. I like the spear weapon.
Yeah.
That's going to be different. Although, again, I understand, like, if you wanted Okoye, like, it's the same weapon, right? Like,
yeah.
I get why you're disappointed.
Yeah, that's the other thing with it, because there's, wow, yeah,
it's tough. It's tough, but at the end of the day, I think once we get through sort of digesting the initial narrative of they exist, it's actually useful in game or not, and that's they're gonna live or die on that.
Absolutely. Right, I think apart from crystal drop rates, which I'm happy to learn about the improvement there.
That was fun.
You've gone robot again.
Oh no! That's
still robot.
Red,
yeah.
green, red, green.
Right, how are you now?
It's still flashing at me. Yeah. How about now?
That's a lot better, yeah.
All right, okay.
Let's move on and talk about Falcon and Winter Soldier and talk about episode 2.
So, as far as drop rates go, are you going to be opening more Cavalier crystals?
Yeah, well, no, actually, I won't. I may do some from time to time, but it's one of these things of how it's like it turns into like gambling, because like I see people go, oh, I got this and I got that, and I'm like, yeah, great. And then I know when I do it, it won't turn out as well as theirs goes.
Yeah. I mean, it's nice because it bumps the free crystals too, including the Thronebreaker Cavalier. So that's nice once in a while. I don't mind it for once in a while. Maybe popping one, but I can't see myself going big on any features anytime soon. Maybe if Kitty Pryde comes to the game, I will. Yeah,
I still got some freebies from the Odin Early Access, so that's going to be Jabari.
Oh, that's right. So you get get that increased drop rate. So that's kind of nice.
That's going to be good to get that for free, and then that'll probably be the last time. So maybe I'll get lucky and get something. I've not, of all the featured Cavaliers that I've done, I've only pulled 1 6-star. So I'm a bit kind of like once bitten, twice shy about the subject.
Understandably so.
Yeah. Right, let's move on and talk about episode 2 of Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yes.
Therapy.
We meet the new Captain America, and we go to therapy, Flag Smashers, and some Young Avengers teases too.
Exactly.
So much stuff. A really, really good episode.
It's just one these episodes, even though they are as long as they are, they just fly by because you get so kind of like engrossed in what's going on.
Oh yes.
Especially like the counselling and kind of the was it kind of realization? It's kind of like the point of the words boiling pot seem to be kind of a thing where Bucky seems to be very much an introvert and is still kind of like doesn't believe in himself. And there's a great line saying like Steve trusted you with that shield, which means that if he didn't trust you, it was wrong about you, then he was wrong about me as well.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the crux of a lot of Bucky's issues, and I'm not totally sure that Sam is being honest with Bucky about why he turned the shield into the government. He seems very pained about the whole thing, and I'm wondering if there's some pressure that was put on him to give up the shield that he isn't willing to talk about yet. Yeah,
because I suppose with the what if his free because he's free now. The kind of what's the word? He is allowed to be a free man, or kind of like do it because he was arrested by what's the general? I can't remember what the general was called.
Talbot.
Talbot, yeah. So
yeah. So
maybe like he had to give it up, or he'd have to go to prison or something like that. Or maybe like no, that's it. What if it's Bucky's freedom? Bucky was pardoned by the president because Sam said, "I'll give you the shield, but Bucky can be free." And
that might have been the leverage point, right?
Yeah.
It's possible. I mean, we don't know. I mean, these shows, they always kind of peel back the layers of the onion, but it seems, the shield is such a hot button issue for Sam and Bucky. And what did I tell you, right? Bucky wants to steal a shield. I told you he did.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? Like what is what anybody's really motivation? It's hard to know with Bucky because he's so he's messed up in the head.
Yeah,
his motivations are just so.
I think he's kind of lost. Bucky's very lost for a purpose without Steve.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's the hardest part for him right now. Is he's really trying to figure out what he's going to do, because we understand why Sam's running these missions and Bucky just shows up and it's kind of like, well, I got to do something, right? Yeah. One of the most interesting parts of this episode for me was we get to meet the new Captain America, John Walker.
Yeah.
We get to see a lot more of his personality built out in a 3-dimensional way, and we had a very unexpected first meeting between Falcon, Bucky, and John Walker on that cool fight scene on the tractor trailers. So I'm interested in how they're building out the John Walker character, because he starts out in the episode much more likable than the John Walker is in the comics.
Yeah.
And then it turns during the episode, and by the end you're like, okay, there's the jerk I was expecting from the comics. So that was interesting. Like he, that stay out of my way, and he is a little bit of a showboat. Like he, he does take parts of the Steve Rogers Captain America, but there's other things that he doesn't. Other qualities that he doesn't possess that I think we're starting to see.
Yeah, because do they talk about it in this episode about the power broker?
I think it's hinted at. I haven't watched episode 3 yet.
No,
so.
I'm not going to talk anymore about that, but it's you just get these feelings of there's still a mysterious kind of person that's in control of the flag smashers,
yes,
and as well, who is responsible for the super soldier serum that has been given to these flag smashers. So there's a lot of things still at play, and I think there's going to be something that links a lot of them together, especially with right at the very end of episode 2, which we've got to go and see him. Who?
Got to go see him. You know who? Zemo. And I have to say, Zemo fanboys, I know you're excited, but easy with the spoilers 4 hours after the episode drops.
Yeah.
I know you guys are hyped, and I'm hyped for him too. Just let those of us who just want to scroll our Twitter feeds watch the episode first. I know I'm excited to see Zemo too. Now the other really interesting part of the episode for me, and I was wondering if this character was going to show up at some point, maybe not in this show, but at some point as we build towards Young Avengers, is the character of Isaiah Bradley.
Oh yeah,
and this is a very important reveal for a number of reasons. So the Isaiah Bradley character from the comics is a contemporary of Steve Rogers that Steve didn't know about. From my understanding, that was given the super soldier serum as a test.
Yeah.
And he because it's the 1940s in America, he wasn't going to be Captain America.
No.
So, he was kind of you can see the bitterness of the character on the screen, that he was basically, they treated him as a lab rat to see if the super soldier serum would work.
Yeah, and that's the thing, isn't it? It kind of does, and the thing is, the show touches on some very important aspects of race, and as well discrimination, which I think is important, because it's very much in this time, and a lot of kind of movements that have happened over the last year.
Yeah,
it's been important to kind of to chart that. I mean, there was one line that really kind of stuck with me, where the young child goes, "Oh, you're Black Falcon, aren't you?" And he was like, "No, I'm a Falcon." And it's just like that's like, well, that's like how a lot of things are seen, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, this show feels very right now.
Yeah, exactly.
In a way that WandaVision was there was a high level of fantasy to WandaVision, where this show is incredibly grounded in the now.
Very down to it, very relatable, which I think is
very relatable. And our mid to late COVID world has a lot of corollaries to post blip.
Yeah.
I think the audience, well, we didn't experience the blip, we did experience the trauma in the past year, so we feel that.
Yeah, and even like in that scene, kind of touches on so many things, like the discrimination.
The cops.
The cops, yeah, that's exactly the discrimination. Kind of like is three parts. The young child who kind of like who's been told to identify with color of the person rather than saying the Falcon, and because he responds back in kind of in jest to the child. The character of Isaiah and his discrimination of not being Captain America and used as an experiment lab rat, as opposed to like being given the opportunity to be Captain America. And the final thing being, as you said, the way the cops have profiled and kind of like there's a problem here. And it's like,
right.
It's only when it's like, oh, you're the Falcon, is then
then suddenly everything's cool.
Yeah.
Right. So it's crazy, but that's kind of the world right now. So it's like I said, it feels like a 2021 show for sure. Now the Isaiah Bradley reveal is very important, not just because of that character's. I think there's clearly tying him to the emergence of the new super soldiers, or at least it appears so.
Yeah.
But Isaiah Bradley is the grandfather of Eli Bradley, who is the kid at the door. And that kid is becomes a member of the Young Avengers in the comics. So at this point, we've met potentially 4 future Young Avengers, where the two twins from WandaVision, Cassie Lang, of course, who becomes Stature, and Eli Bradley, who becomes the Patriot. Yes. And we, of course, know that the Hawkeye show is coming.
Yeah.
And so we know we're going to get Kate Bishop. So really, of the 6 main, or 6 or 7 main Young Avengers, we've seen 4 of them. We know for certainty the 5th is coming. We don't know what's up with Hulkling and Iron Lad. Those are the other 2 biggies.
Yeah,
I would say, for the Young Avengers. But I mean, clearly they're building to Young Avengers in my mind. Like, why introduce all these characters if you're not going to team them up?
Well, the more that I think about it, the more that with the end of WandaVision, the children still can be heard. So what if Wiccan? Well, it could be a case of both of them, but definitely if Wiccan was heard. But what if there's something of like the character is a lot older, because essentially, I suppose you would need to pair them up in a certain age to be.
They probably wouldn't be able to use the same actors, because I think they'd need to age them into their late teens or early 20s to make it work. But that's kind of how it happened in the comics. Yeah. So that makes sense that the twins could reappear somewhere, maybe together, maybe separately. But it's cool. Like they are planting a lot of seeds with these shows.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be incredibly exciting down the line. I think that really concludes like talking about Falcon the Winter Soldier. I'd love to kind of like open some dialogue about Marvel Realm, but I got to be honest, it's in one of these states where it's just on repeat. There's nothing new that's been added in. There's no other game modes that have been added in. There's nothing about new champions, with Thor pretty much kind of like a hope down the line. With 3.0 update, which is meant to add in a lot of things, I think that's going to be when it kind of... I keep on being told by people that this update 3.0 is meant to like change everything and add like so much more, and it's going to be like it's going to make people want to play Marvel Realm. But I think I need it sooner rather than later. I'm actually going to be taking a break away from the game because I'm finding that I'm grinding over the weekend. I'm losing about 9 hours, and even like our alliance have decided to like scale down. We're in a top 5 alliance globally,
right?
So
Yeah.
we're already making those decisions to actually kind of step down there. But I've kind of made I'm going to make the decision. I think it's on Monday after I do my champion advancement. Is to go. Look, just to let you know, I'm going to have to like. It's a little bit of a business decision because I'm trying to like run a business on the side, and I'm trying to kind of like do some time towards that. And I'm just finding I'm investing too much time in it. And as well, the 3.0 thing gives me nothing. Without that being nothing that I'm looking forward to. So I don't know where you're up to with Realm currently.
Yeah, I'm kind of popping in for a fight or two when I get a spare minute, but not too fussed with it. I think I'm kind of in the same place where you are. It's like, what am I working towards? Like that's always been such a key in MCOC. Is I've always felt like I'm working towards something. It's like I just finished Act 7.1, and now I'm excited to go do Variant 6.
Yeah.
And pretty soon I'm going to have Variant 7, and I'm excited for those rank up gems from the variants. Like, and I'm excited to get the guides out and have people read the content and build up the site more. I don't know. It's just with Realm. Realm is weird because it's like it has more of a barrier to entry.
Yeah.
Because of matchmaking. So it's harder to get started, but then there's like less of a point to it.
Yeah.
where contest is so easy to pick up and intuitive, and you're not reliant on your teammates being good.
Yes, that's the
initially,
other issue.
which is a huge part. I think that's the biggest thing, right? Like it's so easy to get frustrated in Realm and not stick with it. But there's like contest is like so easy to pick up, and then when you're ready, you're like, whoa, like look at everything that's out here for me to tackle. I don't know. It's just like you said, we gotta wait to see what 3.0 does. If they introduce Thor, I'll be excited to go get Thor and try him out. But for right now, I'm not too fussed about the whole thing.
Yeah, it's a case that I'm probably not going to make a video on the second channel to go, hey, I'm not quitting Realm, but I'm kind of at least stepping down or taking a semi-retirement from Realm. It's just a case of like I don't want to dogpile on something just cause, and I don't want something of a YouTube video there to discourage other people from playing it, because that's the other thing as well. Like I do want the game to do well. I'm just at a point where the time investment's not. I mean, it's been unprofitable for me to cover Realm on the second channel for about 3 months.
Right.
And like it's coming into its 4th month of being unprofitable, and that's been the case. Like I do play games that I don't cover or kind of like have an investment based on like covering from YouTube and making money from it because it's like my living now. I have to make that decision of going, okay, is this actually worth time as well to kind of cover? So it's a 2 thing. Like if it was a case I was going, oh, I'm just in it for money, is I would have kind of gone like, right, well I'll just kind of like quit Realm and play the next hype game, which is whatever's going to be, whatever's out there, whatever's popular. I could have done 7 Deadly Sins on the second channel. I could do like whatever else is out there, but it's not the case. I want to kind of replace that with a similar game and see how it does. But I do like Realm, but at the same time, the amount of investment and grind to be in a top 5 alliance is similar to MCOC. So I can't really abandon my MCOC targets that I have.
Right. I mean, it'd be different if Realm had this huge audience, but it doesn't right now.
Exactly.
Like that's the thing is the game hasn't caught on, certainly not from a YouTube standpoint. It doesn't seem to have a big audience right now. I mean, I know Seaton's covered the sales numbers every so often, and there's unfortunately no good news there.
No.
So I don't I don't really know what to say about this game anymore. Like there's some really cool art there. I wish it was a movie or a graphic novel. I want to read
Yeah.
the story. I think they've got a great story. But they certainly can't seem to attract or hold on to players right now.
No, that's the issue. I'm just trying to think of some other stuff. Like, I think for me, it's one of these things. I will quite happily go. Look, I'm taking a break, and that's what I'm going to do. I am literally going to take a break. I'm probably not going to. I may log in to do dailies each day, but apart from that, I'll probably go like if I miss it, I miss it. If I do it, I do it. But until I see Thor or anything with 3.0, I'm going to have to take like time away, which is good because I should be focusing more on creating guides. Like every week I say, okay, like you're going to sit down now, you're going to write just a load of guides, and every time they're just there as Word documents. They have no structure to them. Every week I go, I could have just written all these, and I could have then had these prepared to then get right into a like real record, and people would enjoy them. People would want to come to watch them, and it would be more benefit to do. So
absolutely, because there's still that's the crazy thing about contest is 6 years in, there's still new players. I get hit up by new players. Like now that I have the second alliance, like I just I have these people that are just getting into Act 4 and want to learn about the game. I have a couple of them that join every once in a while as we have spots, or just have found me because of say an Act 4 guide, or they're just getting into variants. There's still a lot of call for that older content because there's newer players that find the game. Like every time there's like a big Marvel release, the game has a bit of a pop.
Yeah.
And it and the sales numbers are still strong. So
which is nice.
It's like it's one of those things. It's crazy for a game that's been dying every month since 12.0.
Yeah,
it's doing all right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's covered a lot in this podcast. Some great stuff has been covered. Dan, what are you up to next week?
I am. Let's see. I've got an Act 7.1.5 guide out. That'll be out on Sunday. So when this episode goes live, the guide should go live. Finally getting into variant 6.
Nice.
Which I'm excited about. And I pulled a 6-star Apocalypse, so I'm ranking him up, next level up. So I'm very excited about my 6-star Apocalypse.
Excellent. I think for next week for me, I don't really know except for the new update. I've got to write ideas, but this is the thing about having doing too much Realm. I need to kind of like just kind of put it to the side to then focus on my MCOC stuff more. Yeah, I probably want to do a video including some of the stuff we've talked about here about like the Realm, the problem with Realm stuff, and why Kabam had not done a crossover particularly well. But just news and all that stuff. But okay, yes, make sure everybody to follow Dan at frontlinemcoc.home.blog. Links are always in the bio for him, as well as Twitter. And also make sure to follow the podcast on iTunes Podcast, Spotify, SoundCloud, and YouTube with a playlist. Thanks, everybody, and come back for episode 57 next time. Okay, bye-bye.